My name is Jen Smith, and I am one of the farm and distribution interns here at Veggielution. I moved to the Bay Area at the beginning of June. I had worked on farms in the past back in Texas, where I'm from, and just wanted to kind of get my hands dirty. I ended up volunteering every week, just kind of as a means of getting my hands dirty, doing what I enjoyed, what I was kind of seeking just from a like kind of hobby sort of perspective, but then also just in terms of like creating community and meeting people. As someone that's new to the Bay Area, didn't know a lot of folks, that was also a really awesome thing to be a part of. Yeah, that's what brought me to Veggielution, and it's, I guess, what has kept me at Veggielution too, now that I am an intern.
So the Reconnecting series is very fitting for our guest today, Jamie, because she was a farm intern in summer 2015.
The people, just the different volunteers that kind of end up, crossing paths.
Undoubtedly, the best part about the farm is the people.
Here come from all walks of life, and that's just a really interesting thing to be a part of. I don't know.
I think there's a lot to be said for how much you're providing in terms of community service to everybody on the east side San Jose, and how much you're learning and becoming more active and really taking root in San Jose.
Every day that I come here, I learn something new. Like, we're tackling a new project, or tending to a new bed, or the orchard, whatever. There's no lack of room to grow and to learn, and
there's an awesome community here, and being able to be a part of that, grow in that, create that sense of community for people who are just passing by in the farm, who are just like part-time volunteers or whatever, that was really significant in my summer.
That's what makes Veggielution a really fun place to come to for me.
What's really interesting on the farm is, you're like picking vegetables, you're thinking that everybody's probably exhausted and doesn't want to make like conversation or whatever, but what ends up happening is people really like to talk about deep stuff while they're out there on the farm. There's this one friend who I made who is studying political science, and I wasn't expecting her to, warm up to me so quickly. We ended up doing some rooftop garden tour in San Francisco after one of the work days at the farm. It's just like a totally random story, she also grew up in the Bay Area and she goes to college on the East Coast. But it's just really cool that I was able to find that kind of connection through something so casual and what seemed like unmeditated.
When? I don't even know, though.
October.
Was it?
Yeah, it was October. We started the podcast. Our first guest was ourselves.
The purpose of starting the Farmcast was to tell our community's stories. It's not just about social media for us anymore. It's about these recordings of people's stories.
Yeah, and I think people like to listen to stories too, and it's kind of like a old-timey fireside chat-esque,
yeah,
Franklin Roosevelt kind of story time telling.
Yeah. We've been co-hosting ever since.
Episode 15 is going to air Monday the
14th.
14th. But it was a learning experience because we had to learn how to tell a story in a different way. Mm-hmm. I mean, we listen to podcasts all the time, but it's different recording it, I think.
Well, I mean, we can all learn from each other, right?
We can learn from each other, yeah, but it's the exciting part is putting our own Veggielution spin on things, such as a recording studio. But I think the stories that we share, I think they do shed light and explore, different perspectives of people that people may not have of the farm, because they think of the farm and they think of just what's out in the field. But I feel like a lot of the stories that we've told so far are not necessarily, they have nothing to do with farming. It's more about, kind of people's stories about, food in general, or like their own sense of place, or their own sense of community, either here or somewhere else, and kind of how they found this place, which is cool, and I think it's fun.
Yeah, I feel like the true purpose of the podcast is broadly to tell stories, but more focused in is to tell stories to people who have not been here before, or who are not part of our community.
Sure.
To sort of like demystify where we work. I think it really, at least the hope is that it sort of makes us transparent and gives off the vibe that we're inclusive, and if you do come to our community, like, we will tell you whatever you want to know. We're here to teach and all learn from each other.
And I think it's also, part of it is we're like humanizing this aspect, the aspect of like food and farming, that most people forget that there are people behind their food and behind the processes that go into how people get their food. And I think that's really important, and that we're able to do it kind of in a humorous way for most of the time, which is good, because I think that's sometimes the best way to tell a story, is to be relatable and to be funny. And we're done.